Is AI a curse or a blessing to music? So, whenever we see there is some technological innovation, it kind of has historically always been like it is seen that music also like goes through like a big development, a big growth, a big development. Basically, it progresses forward. Something happens, something big happens when technology evolves. Let's go like way back into history. Bach didn't have a piano, like he, or maybe during his later life, but like for most of his life, the piano was not invented. So like we don't see a lot of piano pieces by Bach unless they were like written for something else and developed for the piano. And he didn't have symphonies, like because the idea of the orchestra was not invented. And Bam, Mozart, like Beethoven, like these guys wrote like some of the best like piano music that we know. Some of the best symphonies, like Symphony Number Five. Come on, like you can't beat that. So um, they revolutionized music because of the invention of these two new things, the piano and the symphony orchestra. Now we go a little, we jump a little in time. We see composers of the modern music, the 20th century modernism music, like people like Stockhausen and John Cage. Like they used sampling, like electronic music, like to make like to revolutionize music. Like Caroline Stockhausen was one of the first. He's often called the one of the first electronic musicians, and we're talking back in the, I don't know, 1920s or 1930s. I don't know what time frame, but like John Cage, like he used the idea of sampling, like, and the idea of prepared pianos, like that was something so new. Like I know prepared piano might not be thought of as a technological innovation. It was more of John Cage's creative innovation, but like electronic recording, that was definitely used by John Cage. Had pieces for radios, like that's a technological. I don't think anyone wrote pieces for radios before that. And Stockhausen had full on electronic pieces, like I can't name any, but I know he did. And then let's jump over further to Beatles, like when, especially in 1966, actually even before the Beatles, like the electric guitar, right? Starting with Chuck Berry, like he revolutionized it. BB King, like Muddy Waters, like they took the guitar to a whole other level. And then the Beatles, at the, I think their technological innovation was like the, along with Elvis, like the TV and the LP, the full album. Like the Beatles made really good use of this concept. And then the music studio, like multi-track recordings, like the Beatles really explored that. The Beach Boys, like on Pet Sounds and Sergeant Pepper's and Zappa, and so many. This whole psychedelic revolution had was so much tied into the music studio, the technological advancement of the music studio. And then Jimi Hendrix, like he just blew the roof off of everything, like with the first phase and the wah and overdrive at your feet, like that was unheard of. Like uh, Jimi Hendrix just changed what music is, like completely. Like without Jimi Hendrix, like I don't know what how music would have sounded throughout. Like like it everything, it would have changed everything, like not just like rock music, like everything would be different if there was no Hendrix. And uh, Hendrix's music would not have been there if there was no first phase, like or it would not have been like that. Maybe he would have found other ways to do it, but I'm not specifically talking about the first phase. But what I mean is distortion or overdrive as a technology. Like Jimi Hendrix would not have been like as we know Jimi Hendrix. And then let's jump further in time, coming to the 90s, like hip hop, like sampling. Like sampling was a technique that was like so revolutionary. All these technological innovations, they were always shunned by the older generations. Like I don't know about Mozart, but I'm sure like there must have been people who said, "What is this new invention called the piano?" and what is this guy doing writing for like 50 violin players and like a woodwind group of like 10 woodwind players. And like I'm sure like people hated Mozart and Beethoven. Beethoven definitely had like, because he wasn't a likable character in his heyday. So like I'm sure Beethoven had many haters. Stockhausen, like he definitely had like especially the even today, like when we see like there's one documentary, I love that documentary, but he explicitly says that he hates all the 20th century, like John Cage. And like he said, he says he feels offended by what happened in the 20th century avant-garde music. So, and Beatles, like yeah, I mean it's pretty well known. Like even today, like there are people who hate the Beatles, like uh, for several reasons. I don't know if Beatles got any hatred for using technology. uh, I'm guessing they must have. Like okay, let's talk more in psychedelic music. That did get a lot of hatred for like using pedals and feedback and overdrives and music studio. Like it did get even Indian music using the sitar. Like it did get psychedelic music as a whole did get a lot of hatred. Now hip hop. Now that is like that is the point where like I find myself shaky because what I've talked to you so far, like I've always been on the side of the people who are the innovators. Like I've always been like I'm a fan of Mozart, I'm a fan of Beethoven, I'm a fan of Stockhausen, John Cage, Beatles, Hendrix. Now when it comes to hip hop, I'm a little on the edge. They started sampling, they started like well, the things that I is on my on the video of my on my sampling video, like starts to get a little shaky. But I do like to give the benefit of the doubt that they did create something like that was like unheard of. Like they were the people who did, they were definitely pioneers. Like I don't know any names because I'm not too familiar with hip hop, but I'm just gonna name the artists. I don't know who made the beats, but Tupac and NWA. Like I love these artists, so uh, J Dilla, another big one. So like they did make really good music, irrespective of, let's not getting into the ethics of it, but what they did was amazing. And I still feel proud of them, of what they did. And mm, now coming into 2021, or was it 22, like you started hearing of this thing that, I mean, we've heard of the term artificial intelligence. Like it was there in like way before that, the word was always there. Like there was this famous movie called She or Her, like something like that, that talked about artificial intelligence. But like at that time, it started becoming a reality, and uh, lots of like it started with the photos. The what was it called? I've already forgotten the word, but uh, there was this famous website that could just make photos with text prompts, and I was excited. I was honestly like, wow, this is going somewhere. Like, I think the next few years is gonna be really interesting. That was my thought. Like, I thought, okay, and I was very keen on hearing about it. What is gonna happen next? And but very soon, like the negativity started, and again I found myself somewhat on the fence. Like you could just give prompts and then it would create music for you. Like you could still do that, right? Like Suno, I think that's the famous app, or what, I don't even know what it is, because I just don't like the ethics of it. Like ethically, I'm not for it. Like because they are training their models on like artists. Like that way, I am a little against it. But also not just ethically, I'm against it. But firstly, I'm also scared of the negative feedback. Like if I start using AI today, like I might get negative feedback. Like I'm also scared of that. And the really that one incident which really hurt me was of Hayao Miyazaki, because he was against AI, and then just a few months back, like everyone was on Facebook was were posting like pictures of themselves looking like they were in a Ghibli film, and many of my Facebook friends were doing it. Like uh, I, mm, I don't know if any of my family members did it, not that I can remember, but like I definitely know a few of my Facebook friends who I know in real life, like used it and posted it on Facebook, and I didn't say anything. Obviously, I don't want to pick up a fight, you know. Um, but that was really the I think the breaking point. Another breaking point was Andrew Wong's video, like because he uh, I mean, if you haven't seen it, I'd suggest go and watch his video of that card. He made those cards, and some artists use AI, like didn't even use AI fully, but he still got a lot of backlash for that. And I'm scared of myself getting that backlash. Uh, I did at the beginning use when it first came out. I did make a few, nothing commercial, but for SoundCloud, I did make a few of my SoundCloud covers, song covers. This cover of Let's Epilate and pop music. Like I used AI to generate those images, and I was having fun with it. Basically, it wasn't anything serious, but I've never used it on like uh, a commercial album cover or anything else. However, I was waiting for two things. First thing I was waiting for is for this negativity to kind of go away, for all these legal things of all these how they are trained. Like I'm sure all these things, these aren't unsolvable problems. These are very much solvable. Like it's gotten out of hand, like, and because I think the legal rights kind of fell back and did not solve it immediately. If the legalities of it was sorted out as soon as possible, like it would have been solved. Like if I didn't consent to give my music to be trained on, like I don't have to, and then if I do, I get compensated for that. Like it's a pretty easy solution actually. It's not that difficult. Like you could, it's just like how sampling today. Like it's pretty at least the legal moral ground has been sorted out. Of course, people still sample off of YouTube and vinyl, but there is a legal way to get samples, and I think that can be done even for AI. Like there can easily be a legal recourse to anyone who wants to train their models on AI. So I was waiting for that to happen. It hasn't yet happened. Like it's been 3 or 4 years. However, There was another thing I was waiting for, and I am still waiting for, and that is for to do something to AI to be able to do something that is actually useful for me, like seriously useful. And sadly, that hasn't happened. Like, I thought, I was expecting there would be something that AI can do that will make me go, oh my god, this changes my life. This changes the way I make music. Like, this just this has just blown the roof away. And surprisingly, it hasn't happened yet. Like, is it? I think when I ask this question to most people, a lot of people, they say is, okay, stem separation. I don't need stem separation. I never, as I said, like, I don't sample always, and whenever I do, like, I'm like already like, uh, like, not too happy about sampling it. And now stem separation is a thing which comes into play when you're sampling something illegally. Like, so AI is gonna help a crime, basically. Like, you sample something off of YouTube, it's got guitars and bass and drums, and you only want the guitar. Now use AI to take the guitar out, and you don't have the bass and the drums. It's it's becoming complicit in a crime, basically. Stem separation is not, I have no interest at all in stem separation. Like, I understand it can have its uses. I think Beatles used it on their the song they released last year. Again, even that was not a song I was fully on board with. Like, John probably had a different vision for it, and why couldn't it have been released with the piano and the vocals? Like, it would have worked. Like, I'm pretty sure John must have played it in key, and even if he didn't, like, John played it like that. Like, I'm pretty sure, like, they could have figured out a way to make it work instead of having to separate the piano and the vocals and only taking the vocals and not the piano. Like, I was not too happy with that Beatles release, but yeah. So, coming back, like, I don't see anything that has made me go, oh, this helps me so much. I think plugins are starting to use AI. Again, I have not found anything that has blown my roof away. Like, mastering plugins, I think, were the first one, like Isotope and these things. But firstly, it has been questioned whether they are even using AI, and even if it is, like, it doesn't sound like something that I'd be too interested in. Like, why would I be interested in a mastering plugin? Like, is it really artificial intelligence, or is it artificial stupidity? It almost sounds like AI hasn't been able to do anything for me. Like, and at this point, I am so disappointed. Like, I'm doubtful if AI will be able to do something for me. Like, it's been a few years already, like 4 or 5 years by now. Like, I don't remember the exact date, but let's say 2021 was the first time it came about. It's been 4 years now, and it still hasn't been able to make something interesting for me. And I did contemplate about the outro music, that I will make something with AI, but I don't think I will, because, like, it's too stupid. It's artificial stupidity. It's not artificial intelligence. I'm definitely not going to use Suno or any of that stupid stuff. Like, so I'm just going to make music the traditional way, the way the real pioneers made it, like the way maybe Jimi Hendrix made it, or the way Mozart made it. That's it.